This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
Well, I've expanded my horizons beyond Sega Lord X in terms of like lame gaming YouTubers.
I thought you were going to say in terms of impersonations.
No, I'm sticking with him. I'm very committed. No, it must have been recommended to you over the years. Game Sack, right?
Yeah, I've definitely seen like the intro or whatever.
One of them's got like no teeth. He's like, oh, here, and he's just the.
I'm definitely not familiar with this channel.
Yeah, it's called Game Sack, and I don't know. They do in-depth reviews, retrospectives, collection type stuff, a lot of collection stuff. All the content you would expect. You know, when a mini system comes out, they review it. Let's put it that way. But they did a series. They did like 3 or 4 that were new games for old consoles, and that to me is interesting. Even when the games don't really work, I can't get away from it, guys. When you make a new Dreamcast game, I'm like, what'd you make? Tell me more. And why did you make it? And what's available? And it's available for Switch, but why did you still make it for Dreamcast? I don't know. It ropes me in. And yeah, the theme seems to be they develop for the Sega Genesis all the time. Like more than anything else, it's Sega Genesis.
Yeah, why is that? Because I saw a few on Sega Lord X's channel where he's like, I got another new game.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's even like 4 what seemed like a lot. Like if I see 4 of those videos,
right,
it seems like a lot.
Yeah, and there's more beyond what he has reviewed, and they all have a Kickstarter, and a surprising number of them are shmups. Like way too many. They're like, it's basically R-Type. And I'm like, why'd you do that? Why did you just like R-Type is generic for R-Type?
Yeah,
and it invented
niche.
the genre. Yeah, and they do that. They do like 3D shmups for Dreamcast a lot. There's quite a few of those, but like yeah, very very little in the way of like Super Nintendo. There's quite a bit of NES, and the NES ones tend to be like puzzle platformers. And I gotta tell you, I'm not a puzzle platformer guy. I don't want to go from screen to screen finding keys and bringing the keys back and playing with my balls in these terrible NES levels. I want to jump on things. I want a thrill. But anyway, yeah. So those guys recommended one game that I was like, that looks interesting. It's for Switch, because I'm not gonna hook up a Sega Genesis and like buy a hard copy for $50. And I'm just not. And by the way, I was like looking for their ROM. I was like, ooh, but I will load up the ROM on my arcade. But they don't really make the ROM. They tend not to make the ROMs available. Isn't that strange? When you have like most collectors have either like a
like an EverDrive or something.
Yeah, they have EverDrives, or they have other even legal things where like you should be able to buy the ROM, I would think, but they don't make it available. But they tend to be available on Switch.
It's like someone's worked really hard on an album. It's like, no, we're only going to release it on wax cylinders.
Yeah, right. Not even vinyl.
Gotta find some like ancient Edison machine.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there was one that, of all the puzzle platformers and all the shmups that I skipped by, there was one called Gunlord X. Pardon the name. I don't know where the Lord X is coming from. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe they're a fan. They're a fan of.
Yeah, or maybe he stole from them. I don't know.
You didn't make this game, did you, Frankie?
Yeah, I'm Gunlord X, and I have no relationship to Sega Lord X. Have you ever played the Super Turrican games for Super Nintendo? So they're kind of like, I don't know, how would I describe them? They're like, they're run and gun, but and they're Contra-like, in as much as you're constantly collecting new types of guns spread, and like so much of the fun of it is like, what crazy gun that does crazy damage am I going to get next? And they're sort of easy, but they're sort of hard. I was actually really enjoying there was a Sega one called Mega Turrican that I think it was Japanese only, that was really good. Anyway, they made one like that, but it was really the major difference was the graphics are a little bit better. And you can shoot diagonally, like in Contra, whereas most Turrican games, it's 90 degrees. It's pretty good. It's for the Switch, and it's $10. And I think there's worse ways to spend your video game time than with Gunlord X. And then there was another one that Sega Lord X recommended. I was like, that looks pretty in depth enough that I'll I'll give it a try. Which is Demons of Asteborg. Did you
Oh
watch
yeah,
that video?
I watched that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so far so good. I've been playing through it. The boss battles are a little too hard for me. Like that's what's making me put it down. No save states in these things.
Yeah. Well.
Because if for some reason even new developers don't have the presence of mind to not make these things too hard.
That's what that's the thing that you would do is make all the quality of life things that are in modern games in your retro game. That's what I would do. I mean, that's where immediately that I would think of.
Well, that's not the thought process that's going into it, is it? The thought process is like back in my day, this is what real games were like.
But like, haven't we learned?
But they're for dads. They're for old people who can't learn how to get good.
Yeah.
Although I did put a lot of hours into Elden Ring.
You would think that 30, 40 years into the endeavor, we would learn that like when we look back at games we really loved, what did they have in common? It's like, well, one of the things is that the ones that endured aren't that hard. They're not too hard to play. Like, so maybe make a game that's balanced.
Yeah. And then kind of when I'm making my NES video, I'm capturing footage. And I'm noticing that a lot of the games in my top 10 are like games you can basically complete, like that are not ones that are like too tough.
Yeah.
Or at least that are not tough for me to complete, but it seems to be a lot in my process. I'm like, what? Like if I want to go back and play a game, I don't want to be, busting my thumbs over it.
I've been playing a little bit of Chip and Dale just because it's classic. I grabbed it on eBay because it was like
classic.
It was classic. It's like $25, and I was like, that someday Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is going to be expensive.
Isn't there like the sequel? Isn't there a Chip and Dale that's the more expensive one?
$200 that goes for, and Felix goes for $100.
Ah,
so I won't be buying it.
I've been playing low.
Oh, nice. Have you been playing it? In a real NES?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing all of them in real NESs. This is Lolo. It's a puzzle game. I don't know. Do you guys know Lolo? It's like HAL Labs. So it's Kirby, but before Kirby, then Lolo shows up in Kirby as Lolo.
You guys might call him Father Christmas over there. Does that ring a bell?
Or Eggerland, maybe some Eggerland is like
it's one of those.
Oh yeah, we call him Dr. Cheese here. You call him Lolo in the States.
Anyway, you were talking about Dr. Cheese before Frankie Frayne rudely interrupted.
Sorry, please continue.
I want to hear about this Dr. Cheese.
The UK's symbol.
Played it on the Commodore 64. We did.
Pop it into the Commodore and play a cracking game of Dr. Cheese. I apologize.
The sequel on the Mega Drive.
Did you say my name just very nasally? Is that your comeback? Frankie Frayne.
That was my attempt at your voice.
I do have if I were to impersonate myself, which is impossible, that's through the looking glass. I would
through the multiverse.
It's through the multiverse. I would speak too much in the throat. Like I'm not from the diaphragm as much as I should be. I'm not down here. It would be better for someday. I'm going to wear out my throat because I talk way up here for some reason. I don't know why I do that, but I can't. There's no solving it. And I'm hunched too. My dad was giving me shit about this recently. He's like, you're not going to fix this. This is just something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. When you run, you're leaned over. You're not going to fix it. I was like, fuck you, dude.
Your head's in a rush.
Anyway, Dr. Cheese
first. Anyway, yeah, let's all just agree that we've all got different voices.
Let's have a cracking slice of Dr. Cheese.
Anyway, yeah,
everybody loves Dr. Cheese.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.